Finally, the power of AI vocal modeling without monthly credit quotas and limits or monthly subscriptions. Hey guys, it's Steve from Featherlight Studio, and in this video we are checking out the brand new ReSing software from IK Multimedia. For the first time ever, truly professional AI-powered vocal replacement and modeling software is available without monthly subscriptions, without credit limits and quotas, without cloud access, without internet access. All that power and flexibility is available directly to you in your own studio on your own PC. You can use ReSing to go from this,
but it just seems like it goes one ear and out the other, and I don't know,
to this.
But it just seems like it goes one ear and out the other, and I don't know.
Or from something like this.
Hey guys, hi! It's so good to see you all. Welcome.
All the way to this.
Hey guys, hi! It's so good to see you all.
Or even sing something like this with a microphone, or even something from your own phone. And turn it into something like this. Or even something like this. Before we go any further, I want to coin a phrase here. So you heard it here first. AI sustainability. And the reason why is because a lot of people have really strong opinions about whether AI is a good thing or a bad thing or all those things. So this may be really one of the very first AI sustainable plugins. From the start, ReSing was designed to safeguard both artists and users. Our process addresses concerns about intellectual property or unauthorized use of copyrighted material. So many of the online creators take those concerns pretty loosely, and IK Multimedia is clearly making some inroads in trying to address those issues from the beginning. ReSing is sold in a couple of different variations and can be a little bit confusing at first. There are two versions of the application itself. The standard version gives you 10 voices, 10 instruments, and 10 model generations, and limited imports of other models. ReSing Max, which gives you 25 voices, 25 instruments, 25 model generations, and unlimited imports of other models. Then there's a separate add-on application that adds unlimited model generation, but requires you to own a previous version of ReSing. This is obviously intended for production houses so that they could create high-end, fully professional models that you could download into your own ReSing software and use. ReSing software can be used in 3 different modes, the first of which is ARA mode, which actually affects the audio clip directly in your DAW. But not all DAWs like Logic can support it completely. Other DAWs like Cubase and Studio One do support it. The ARA mode allows you direct access to the audio clips inside your DAW project. You're working directly on them. The next mode is that of a plugin. You simply insert the plugin into your DAW project like you would any other plugin. There are some operational differences we'll talk about in a minute between the ARA and plugin modes, but functionally, as far as the interface is concerned, it works the same. And the third and final mode of operation is standalone mode. This is great for narration and things where you don't want to mess with an entire musical arrangement, but you really want to zero in on the surgical details of each one of the models with precision. One quick heads up about workflow where this plugin is concerned. It's power hungry with a lot of stuff going on in the background. And so in this particular case, it really does matter how you work with it. Do yourself a favor when you're first hunting around for vocalists in the library and take the clip you're working on, especially if you're working in ARA mode, and cut it down to just a few seconds, just enough to give you the idea of the character of the vocalist. You don't want to be processing an entire 5 or 6 minute vocal file every single time you make a change. You're making changes at the fundamental level of the model, which requires you to reprocess. So do yourself a favor. Cut that vocal clip down to just a few seconds in the beginning until you find the perfect vocalist, make all the changes you need, and then you can process the entire file. We'll start in ARA mode, and we're going to begin with the character wheel. And because we're in ARA mode, we're actually going to duplicate the lead vocal track itself. This is going to allow us to A/B back and forth between the original vocal and our ARA affected vocal inside of ReSing. and we'll hide it for now until we need it. Melody is the first project that we're working on. These are all active projects here in the studio. This is a country project, sounds like this.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line. If you buy that, you'll have to swallow a lot more than your pride.
All right, so you get the idea. Very kind of aggressive, very gravelly, hyper stylized vocal, and lots of character. It's very pinched sounding, and we want to actually go the opposite direction in this. We want to use ReSing to re-sample that vocal or remodel that vocal to something a lot smoother. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the clip, we're going to come up to audio, we're in Cubase here, and then we're going to come down to our extensions and choose ReSing. This is our basic work area, and it's divided up into 4 kind of main sections. We have the character section up here, we have the accent section, we have the dynamic section, and we have the effects section. The only section that you can change without having to reprocess is the effects, because these effects are real-time effects. We're going to start with the character section, and we're going to find another vocalist that's more characteristic of that. So we've got Aaron, and we've got quite a few here. And right now we're only working on model A, which is why if you look down here at the Fusion tab, these are grayed out. Fusion allows you to blend 2 different models and then blend the characteristics of them. You can blend the timbre and you can blend the accent of 2 different models. But you'll notice if we go to model B, there isn't just one selected because nothing's loaded yet. We're just working with model A here. And on model A, if we click this little bookend character, it just takes us back and forth to the library. And these are all the ones that are available. If we click on install, these are the ones we currently have loaded on our machine. These are all the factory ones that are available. And then presets and some other things we'll get to later. But for the time being, we're just going to work with the ones that are installed. So if we've picked Spencer, for example, he's got a rough, gritty, infused, soulful grit and raw emotion. This is very much like what we have, and we want to go the opposite direction of that. So we're going to give Spencer a rest here. So let's go with Alex and see what he's got. Bright, slightly nasally smooth, controlled expressive quality that blends pop clarity and jazz influence. All right, so this is very much in the opposite direction. The pop sensibility thing might help kind of pull back some of those. Let's start with the character tab first. We'll leave the auto button off so it doesn't automatically process everything we touch. This is the original.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line. If you buy that, you'll have to swallow a lot more than your pride.
And we're going to process this with Alex, give it a second to finish, and then we end up with this.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line. If you buy that, you'll have to swallow a lot more than your pride.
Now, if we want to play around with some of these other tabs like mellow, lively, energetic, smooth, we can click on those. And when we do, you'll notice down here, this changes to audio doesn't match settings. And what that's explaining is that what we've chosen here is different than our processed vocal. Because if we want to hear what smooth or energetic or lively sounds like, we're going to have to resample or reprocess that. So let's choose energetic just to see what that does. We'll reprocess it. And because we're in ARA mode, we're working directly on this. We're not dragging samples out of our pool into the interface like a plugin would require you to do. We're actually working on them in real time. All right, so here's the energetic version.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line. If you buy that, you'll have to swallow a lot more than your pride.
All right, so you can hear he's hitting the consonants different. This isn't just about, dynamics. It's not a compression and EQ changes. It's not that kind of stuff at all. These are fundamental changes at the root of the model itself. Now it's time to move down to the accent wheel, and let's switch it up a little bit and choose a different voice model altogether. We're going to choose another voice model that we don't yet have downloaded. This is going to be Gabriella because she has a Spanish accent. So we're going to download her. This is simply a pop-up that says the IK product manager is now going to open and help us download this particular voice model. So it starts IK product manager. This is all your other IK software as well. We can navigate over to sounds here. And then as we scroll down, we'll see Gabriella down here in one of the lists. And you can see that these are pretty sizable downloads here. This is almost a gig. So we'll hit install. This starts the process. It's a pretty lengthy one. Once we're done, it just gives us a confirmation window. It's nice that it keeps us all in the IK Product Manager sort of environment. We don't have to quit the DAW or anything to have it installed. And then we're just taken back to our uploaded models page right in the interface of the plugin itself. From here, we can choose Gabriella and load her up. So the first thing that we're going to do with the accent wheel here is we're going to put it completely on model. And we've already selected our clip up here. We're just going to go ahead and process that. And of course, this is going to be way out of pitch because our male vocalist is going to be an octave lower. But let's see what we default with just to see how this actually ends up sounding.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line.
All right, so it's actually kind of smoky considering it's that far down. Let's pitch it up a whole octave, and we get this message again that basically just says our audio doesn't match the settings because we've changed the fundamental model. We'll go ahead and reprocess that, and then we'll see what it sounds like pitched up into Gabriella's natural pitch range.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line.
And you can really hear the Spanish accent, the rolled R's, the ra. Now the accent wheel gives us the ability to kind of act on that. We can completely get rid of that altogether and just use the source, or we can mix the two. So for the time being, let's just use the source and we'll reprocess that so we can hear the difference.
One drink ain't gonna hurt you. It's the devil's favorite line.
And it's done a very good job at that. So it's actually kind of removed all of that. And of course, the last option is we can get a mix of both. Now we're going to switch gears from Gabriella here, and we're going to move on over to the Dynamics tab. If the original source vocal was highly dynamic with lots and lots of volume changes, we can choose to keep that, or we can make it flattened. This option will really help level out the wild dynamic and volume changes in the performance. So let's move over to a different model. Let's choose Tyrone here. We're going to move to a different section of the song that's a lot more dynamic. Let's go back to the original vocal line so we can hear what this sounds like through here. And we're going to put some compressor plugins on both the original and Tyrone's tracks so we can visually see the dynamic difference.
And live to see another day where there's always one more round.
Now let's listen to the dynamics on Tyrone's track.
And live to see another day where there's always one more round.
You know, right off the bat, you can see the original track over here is just pegging the meter, and Tyrone's track over here, the dynamics are a lot more controlled and they're a lot more reined in. In this next example, we're going to run it completely in plugin mode instead of ARA mode. We're going to switch gears completely and work on a hip hop song we have in production. It sounds like this.
But I won't let them in. Seen through the bullshit, found out what the message is. What it is. Please don't insult me on my intelligence. No,
but I'm always definite, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate. These birdies fly like pelicans, yeah. Inhale it in, inhale again, exhale it in. Taste my medicine, oh, that's some medicine. That is my best friend, that is my reverend. Just let it settle in, now that my level is better than.
We're going to switch gears completely and turn it into a female vocal. So the first thing we're going to do is load up ReSing as a plugin instead of an ARA effect. We'll come down to our plugin menu. And right off the bat, we'll notice we have a couple of different options that we don't have in ARA mode. You'll notice if you hover over any of the model's cards, we now have a playback icon that we can audition directly from the interface.
My friends are all legends. They lift me when I'm low.
This makes it a lot easier to step through the available models just to see if something's going to work in the ballpark before you commit to the entire process. So let's go through. We're going to actually choose Layla here. And this is going to be a female vocal over a male rap part. So she's going to be a little low. If we leave it at that, we're going to pitch her up a little bit. And then the other change, when we use it in plugin mode, we actually have to choose the file and drop it into the interface. So we need to know what the title of it is. In this particular case, the title of our file is Drew Lead KSM4403. So when we go to choose the file, it's going to open up a window. And this is just wherever your DAW happens to store your project audio. We'll open it up. Now it's active inside the interface itself. Now when we hit a preview of this, whatever settings we have here on our character, accent, and dynamic, it will preview just the first couple of seconds of our entire 5-minute vocal. Let's hit the button.
But I'm always different, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate. These birdies fly like pelicans.
And the other difference here is that we have an immediate preview of our original right here on this slider.
But I'm always definite, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate.
All right, so it's important to understand that when you preview this vocal, it's previewing it through any live effects we have here. So if you have effects that are turned on in the effects window, that's what you're hearing on top of this. We don't get the convenience of working directly on the clip in the DAW, but we get the convenience of a preview window for all the models and for the track that we're working on. So let's choose an energetic selection in the character window and see what that sounds like.
But I'm always different, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate. These birdies fly like pelicans.
All right, so that's a little edgier. I like the sound of that. So let's go ahead and process the entire track. We'll speed this up a little bit here, but the total render time for a 4.5-minute vocal is about 38 seconds or so. And then once we get the entire track and it's ready to go, we'll come up here to our lead track. That's our original. And we simply drag this new one into our lanes. This just becomes part of the comped vocal. And it sits inside as another track. Now, the one thing to note is that we need to line these up because it doesn't have any way of knowing where the track actually starts and stops in terms of a performance.
But I'm always different, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate. These birdies fly like pelicans, yeah. Inhale it in, inhale again, exhale it in. Takes my medicine, oh, that's a medicine. That is my business.
All right, and then from here we have access to all of the real-time effects as the track is playing back.
But I'm always different, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate.
We can add compression.
Birdies fly like pelicans, yeah. Inhale it in, inhale again, exhale it in. Takes my medicine, oh, that's a medicine. That is my best friend, that is my reverend. Just let it settle in, now that my level is better than this.
We can add some air to the performance. We can even auto-tune it if we need to. If this was a musical or sung part, we can engage that down here just by turning it on or off. Under the contour sections and the dynamic sections, we have some different controls. We can de-ess. This is a preset de-esser. And in addition, we can add compression to the track. Let's hear what it sounds like without.
But I'm always different, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate.
We'll add some.
Birdies fly like pelicans, yeah. Inhale it in, inhale again, exhale it in. Takes my medicine, oh, that's a medicine. That is my best friend, that is my reverend. Just let it settle in, now that my level is better than this of a been.
And then under the contour section, this just adds a bit of air and stuff on the top end. The other direction adds body to it instead.
But I'm always different, yeah. Connect the flip it delicate. These birdies fly like pelicans, yeah. Inhale it in, inhale again, exhale it in. Takes my medicine, oh, that's a medicine. That is my best friend, that is my reverend. Just let it settle in.
So I think IK Multimedia has done something pretty impressive here. They're really pushing the boundaries of what we can expect from production tools. Hopefully, as they add more models and more variations, we'll see a lot more diversity, which I'd very much like to see. And I'd also like to see more variation in the narration category too, because I can see this being used for a lot of post-production and voiceover work. Hey, if this was helpful in any way, guys, I appreciate it if you'd hit the like and subscription bells. It really does help keep the algorithm going, and it helps keep young channels like this going along. It helps me make more videos like this for you guys as well. Stay safe and be creative. Add something creative to the world. They could really use it. Take care. We'll catch you guys in the next video.